headset. Sounds good. Sounds good to me. Sound is excellent. Love it. Hi, everyone.
Sounds good.
We are continuing the book club. By the way, Xcelizexes, that's a tricky username. Thank you so much for the follow. Ian the Geek and Panny and Dinosaur, thank you so much for the follows earlier. That was an hour ago. We just did the interview with Dennis E. Taylor, author of the Bobiverse. We last week spent 2 hours talking about We Are Legion, We Are Bob, and now we're doing book 2 discussion for We Are Many. Right now, yes, there was a small echo before. There was an echo during the interview. Bugger. Previously on Book Club. Celis says, man, I just saw a post about this going on. I just started the 5th book an hour ago. I love the Bobiverse series. Cool. Thank you for sharing that, because that's a great time to say we are only talking about what events occurred in the first 2 books. So anything book 3 and beyond will be a spoiler for pretty much all of us. Some of us have done the series. Some of us are actually going back and re-listening, rereading again. Academic, are you there? I know you're muted and your vid's not there, but I do want to talk to you about a question that you had for Dennis, which was discovering more on your re-listen. What was it like going back through the second time?
I felt like I got to experience different dimensions of the book. In my question, I personally like exploring the product. Like, okay, how is Bob sort of solving things? More so the second time than the first time. The process as opposed to the exact, like, ooh, this is the new thing that's introduced. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Snores, I'm actually going to leave you a comment in show chat, and that's kind of for everyone as well. Just because this is the first time that not the first time, we've done it once before, having a book club discussion after the interview. So just get a little caveat there happening. Disciple says, I might not comment anything because so much happens. I can't remember what events are in each book. Well, I got you. The echo was for 1 minute at the beginning of the last interview. Okay, cool. Thank you. I got you. I'm going to give you a quick summary of what happens in book 2. It follows the rapidly one second. When I have a sip of water too fast, I don't want it to come out mid-word. And that's what was going to happen. So I stopped and it went away, but I've addressed it. And now it's uncomfortable for everyone. Book 2 follows the rapidly expanding Bobiverse as dozens of Bob clones spread across the galaxy. Each Bob faces diverging challenges, from hostile alien species to human political unrest, and their differing personalities create both advantages and friction. The core conflict revolves around saving humanity from Earth's collapse, while also dealing with an aggressive alien threat called the Others. The key storyline in the chapters, we've got Earth and the human politics, colonization and new worlds, the Others threat, and then each of the Bobs kind of have their own sub-story and plot as well, which we'll go through. Disciple of the Hand says, oh no, ads. There's a lot of them coming through. I feel like more than usual, so I'll try to cancel some of them out that take place if I catch them in time. But yeah, that's, if you don't like ads, there is a solution to it as well. Just saying. We read books 1 and 2 and are only covering those today. Oh yeah, thank you, KP Dubs. Occult says, but is the universe big enough for the Others and anyone else? That's what we'll find out today. I should have gotten some eggnog during the short break. Oh, quickly, go now. Get some eggnog. I don't even know if I like eggnog. I don't think I like it. I don't think it's for me. It's also not a good selling word for it. Like, eggnog is not appealing. Tim?
Eggnog is just pancake batter that it is socially acceptable to drink one time a year.
Okay. It's like pineapple on pizza. Jeff! I asked the question. For those that are new to Maud's Book Club, there is a Patreon support function with the book club to make it all so it can run, because it costs money to do it all. We have membership, which means that it opens up a lot of the Discord channels. You can vote in polls, help choose the books, and you get access to the author question docs. So we had all the questions from everyone that were members. I'm able to ask the author those questions. This week alone, I was chatting to Ray Porter, who narrates the books. We had Dennis E. Taylor. Next week, I've got Carissa Broadbent on. Hopefully going to get Brandon Sanderson again. We had him last month. Other authors that we've had throughout our time, Pierce Brown, 6 times for every single Red Rising book. I'm going through all of these. Brandon Sanderson. Who else have we had? Andy Weir for Project Hail Mary. James
V.E.
Islington
Schwab twice.
for The Will of the Many. Who?
V.E. Schwab twice.
V.E. Schwab twice. Love her books. We've got that one there. Matt Dinnerman twice. The narrator of those books once. Jeff Hayes. There you go. Ooh, Patrick Rothfuss. Technically, yes, but I had him on to talk about the Murderbot books by Martha Wells, who I also had on the show as well. So having access to all those authors. Who was it?
Veronica Roth.
Veronica Roth recently. I love Murderbot. TJ Klune was another one. Yep. So having access to those authors is really fun as a member, and getting to ask those questions. You also get access to the show docs that we put together, so you can put in quotes, favorite moments, and talking points that we want to tackle with the book. And the voices that you hear, they're members plus. So you get access to a video Discord call. So it's like we're having our own little book club, like in the same room together. So I can see everyone's faces. They're the voices that you'll hear. So that's like the free flowing conversation that happens. And then there's also like really fun merch designs that you can't buy online. There's like really fun perks. You can check it out at patreon.com/Maud's Book Club. Sellers, can you help me how to say your username, because it is difficult for me to do quickly, and so if you can phonetically help me out with that. Sellers X's, XLXX's, see what I mean? Help me. Soon to be Shuey merch, says J Bunt Rock. You. Christopher Riccio et al. That's an awesome opportunity, having all of those authors and narrators on. A lot of my favorites so far. It's on the list of books that we're in the midst, and probably we'll have a chat about after this show, of selecting and locking in for the first quarter of next year. And that's the Sun Eater series is one of the ones that I would like to tackle. So that's another good perk of being a member. Excel Lies. Where is that? Where does it sell Excel Lies in there? Oh, Excel. I see it now. But then there's like an X. X is good. Okay. Catch says, yes, please. I'm super interested in the Sun Eater series. Excel. I like Excel. You are excelling in life. Disciple says, I haven't heard of Murderbot. Oh, I'm a fan of Pat. Just super sad he hasn't updated in a long while. Yep, him and George R. R. Martin sharing a forever meal together of not finishing series. But I hear you on that one. You haven't heard of Murderbot? They're really good, and the first 4 are novellas. So you can, if you need a reading goal amplifier, Murderbot's the way to do it. Especially if you like sci-fi. I really liked those books. We really liked those books. I think, what did we decide as a book club? Our 3 favorite series that we covered were Murderbot, Dungeon Crawler Carl, and Red Rising. They're at least all the, pretty much, if they're writing it in the series, we've covered it. A lot of series we've done 1, maybe 2, and then kind of bowed out, but they're the ones that we've committed to the most. Do yourself a huge favor and binge Murderbot. And Alicia says 100%. There you go. Okay, so now that we've done the entire book and we're talking about all of book 2, is book good is the question. And book good, there it is, that fucker got it. And there's the follow-up. Okay, that was bothering me for a bit. Now we're all good. Now we're great. If you're new here, I should say sorry, but I'm not. And you should come to expect more of that. Is book good? Burp was good, says Jimmy. Thank you. Is book good? 4.5 out of 5 for Occult Stool. Pianki gave it a 5 out of 5. Phantom Ari gave it a 4 out of 5. Jeff says, I liked Murderbot, the books, and Dungeon Crawler, Carl. Robin gave this one also a 3.25 out of 5. Jimmy gives it a 4 out of 5. Colleen says, book good, 4 out of 5. Vaden says 3.5 drops on Aliens. Alicia says book good, 4 out of 5. Book 1 was also 4 out of 5, but I actually liked this book better. Alicia, why did you like this book better? Elevian. There's so many ways the emphasis can be placed. You let me know how that one is phonetically said, or I'll keep stumbling through it. Alavian. It sounds like Evian water. Alavian. K Frito said 4 out of 5. Did I say that? XL says 4 out of 5. Academic says 4 out of 5. Darren says 3.5 better than book 1. Darren, why is book 2 better than book 1?
There was less of the Deltons. I hated the Deltons.
Jeff
like
was
them in this
cheering.
movie. I didn't
Academic
like them in
is
book
like,
2.
oh.
I was real sad when I opened up this book and it started with the chapter from the Deltons. I'm like, oh,
That's
no.
so fascinating. I mean, that's
And
like
then
when
it goes away from it for a long time. We get a few chapters here and there, but they're quick, but there's not a whole lot, and they don't really matter at all.
Okay, are you
So-
team Delton or anti-Delton? This is
anti-Delton.
this is the poll we need to be doing right now. I really like it, and I talked about it in book 1. I found that there were moral implications about injecting answers and messing about with their development. I thought that was quite interesting, and it felt like a David Attenborough documentary for me, which, if you know any of Maud Law, David Attenborough and a baked potato was the cure to my hangovers for about a decade. And so it's a happy, safe place for me, David Attenborough documentaries. One man that's not allowed to die, and I'm so nervous every day. Him, John Williams. Like, if we can get a forever serum happening, I nominate those two. And then soon to be Ian McKellen. Now I'm just collecting old men and it sounds strange. David Attenborough, baked potato, Adolin, Cassie. You get it. I love my baked potato brain, boys. That's why I like the Deltons. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Alicia says, I like this book more because there was more development and completion of arcs. The humanity migration. Bob 1 realized that he shouldn't play God. The others are fucking horrifying. I made the mistake of looking up blue glaucous sea slugs. Have we reached 20 minutes? Do you think we're in a safe zone? My retention on listening to book 2 was not at a reasonable percentage. I'm going to be asking a lot of questions. The first one. Yes, Jeff?
So that show chat note was for you,
Me.
not for me.
Me. Well, I mean, I'm not saying negative things about anyone except myself. And that is the fact that this bitch was so ready to listen to Brimstone that I was just power speeding through this book so that I could get to the book that I was like chomping at the bit, champing. Every time I say that, I hear Pierce Brown being like, it's not fucking chomping, it's champing at the bit. Every time I'm like, oh no, he'll hear it somehow. So my first question is, and if I want to know which book you found better, book 1 or book 2. For me, my retention for book 1 was around the 75%. Book 2 was around the 50%. So that's only half of a book. So it's kind of hard to rate a book that, and it's not to say that Ray Porter did a bad job at all. He was fantastic. I was distracted, healthily distracted. So my first question that I need to ask everyone, and this is disgraceful, knowing that we're all here for Maud's Book Club. When did the others come into this?
First book, wasn't it?
End of book 1. Can someone talk me through the entire timeline of the others?
Wasn't it when the
the weird ants. Oh, great. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
that's
Great. I know the weird ants. what happens in book 2 with them?
I mean,
Bob sends out a bunch of other Bobs, and they start exploring. And then I think the first one's a casualty when they notice their ship starting to fly at them, and that's when they say everything goes blank. So that's when you first know that the others are attacking them. And then first communication is because the others got the Chinese probe, so they're able to communicate Chinese. So that all happens in book 2.
Okay, that's falling into place for me. I do remember that, and it was very threatening, and there was no "we come in peace." It was basically using Mandarin to say, "Go away. If we ever see you again, we're going to obliterate you."
Yeah, they said you're just food to us, so we're not going to bother with you. And that's where they know they have a little more time because they see them as food, so they're not targeting the Bobs or the humans. They just see them as food, and they're not concerned with them.
How are they eating? Because what happened initially with the ants was when they ran the survey scans, when they emitted sort of like the tech blast, let's say that for me, it invigorated them. Oh God, academic, can you help me?
The Sutter scan. So essentially, the nanobots, which is what I believe what the ants were, it was nanotechnology, were powered via Sutter scan, which is I believe I don't know fully understand how Sutter works. That's one of the magicy parts of the book, but that's what powered up the ants, and that's what they sort of discovered in this book.
Hold on. Usually, if I don't sound smart, and someone corrects me with an incorrect spelling, that's my only answer, is just correcting their spelling. Jeff. We're having our first fight of this show. What's disappointing, Jeff? The fact that I'm so not committing things to memory at this stage. I can tell you everything that happens in the first 10 chapters of Brimstone. I can tell you in detail what's happening
after the show then.
In the first 10 chapters of Brimstone, which is where I'm up to at the moment. There are going
Was
to
that
be...
the book club book?
No, that's the book that but that's what... What would you have rather? We didn't do a sci-fi book and we did romantasy? Did you want me to drag you all through this with you? Yeah, Robin's like, please, I beg you. Okay, so Robin, this is just for you. Chapter 1, we've just started off. Sayrus is now both vampire and fae to save her. I know. When are we continuing Akatar? We're not doing Silver Flames. That is just not a book we're doing. No one needs to read a 50-page blowjob. Alicia says, how hot is the Roman to see? The Fae Empire. Oh, that's actually pretty good, Occult Stool. Get writing. K. Frito says, no, thank you. 50 pages is just too long. That's entirely the point, academic. The joke writes itself when you say that. Too long, indeed. I've got to stop. Okay, Bobaverse. For we are many, there is a threat. There is nanotechnology. There is... No, I'm being very... I'm being... You can't see it. But Robin's like, are you? Are you though? Are you? Hyperbolic. Sure. Hyperbolic. Disciple says, imagine when you get to the latest book, it's so hard to remember what's happening and what year it is. I've listened to all of them 6 or 7 times and still have a hard time remembering everything. There is a lot of good resources online, especially fandom. There is a Bobaverse fandom with a timeline that's out there. The problem is, even when I read said timeline, it still sounds like wah, 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 wah. And that's what's happening with me at the moment. So I am just asking for some grace and for a team effort to weigh in on what happens in the book. Yes, Robin?
So I kind of zone out when it says the year because I'm like, I don't need to know it. So does this not happen in chronological order?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
But it's just the expanse of how far... Why were you doing this for, Jay Bunrock? Why? I thought it's all in order.
I've noticed sometimes some of the chapters go back in time for other Bobs that are farther out. so it'll jump back a few years. So it's almost linear, but some of them jump back and forth just because of the amount of distance between bobs.
Yeah.
Right, that's time dilation.
Yes. So it's technically happening at the same time, but not in the same space. Hence the time not being. That I get. I will say, Dennis saying the replicant, what was the word that he used for it? The drift? Replicant drift? What was the terminology? Timey-wimey. Exactly. Okay, well, let's go through my talking points first, because this is the shit I actually understand. And the first one was they drink so much coffee. And I'm glad I got to talk to Dennis about that, because the coffee was something that came up all the time. And it, to me, was, I thought, very symbolic. And it was a thing where it's like, right, we have to get the job done today. There are tasks to be done. And it's like, get back to the list, get back to the to-do list. And that's coffee, cream and Splenda. You wouldn't have called that?
No, not at all.
How do you take your coffee, Jeff? You don't drink coffee much.
I do drink coffee. I drink coffee quite a bit, and if I'm ordering it out,
Yeah.
I'm an Americano person, just black, and then if I'm making it at home, also black, but just usually a pour over. Always light roast, at most medium roast. Otherwise, it just tastes like charcoal to me.
And you were saying the reason why I thought you didn't drink much was because you said it's got no effect, and then you're vibrating.
I'm throwing up, actually.
You throw up from too much coffee?
From too much caffeine, absolutely.
How much caffeine's too much caffeine?
Like 3 pots, 4 pots, something like that.
Pots. How many cups are in the pot? How
I
many
know the
cups
answer
of
to this.
coffee do you need to drink to throw up from two?
It depends on the person.
Depends
Of
on
course
the
it does,
person.
but I want
because
science. I want science
once-
behind it.
I once drank 2 liters of Jolt Cola and then went and took a nap.
It's called
And-
caffeine intoxication.
And 12 ounces of Jolt Cola has double the coffee of 8 ounces of black coffee.
And you napped. Christ.
I napped.
So for those that are new here, Tim is an engineer. I feel like that is the whole sentence.
I have blood in my caffeine stream.
And I used to there was shower gel that was there was a company called Think Geek back in the day.
Yeah.
And you used to be able to buy caffeinated freaking everything, shower gel and gum and mints and you name it, chapstick.
Vitamin water.
A lot of that still
caffeinated water.
exists. But one day I had so much caffeine in various forms, topped off with a giant bottle of this stuff called Redline that was like a caffeine syrup, that I was then in my bathroom curled around the toilet shaking and vomiting for hours
Caffeine intoxication.
and sweating.
Yeah, it's an overdose. How caffeine can cause vomiting. Do you want to go into this? Probably not. The first one is it stimulates gastric acid and then it irritates the stomach lining. It overstimulates the gastrointestinal tract, and it's caffeine intoxication. And this is a dangerous level of caffeine in the system. Wow. You should eat food first before consuming coffee. I never do that. And it's so bad, apparently, for you. I have coffee, I have water, then I have coffee. And that's how I start my day. You have to limit your intake, which is 4 6-ounce cups of coffee. That's where you should stop.
Those are rookie numbers.
4. Consider decaf.
I've had that today, just at work.
Wow. Okay. And this is obviously research for the book that we are talking about. Bob wouldn't get caffeine intoxication because he's not real. So the symbolic nature of coffee, which is time to work. Yes? I once chased a no-dose with Red Bull. Tim. What, have you had your heart checked?
Tim, when was the last time you drank water?
It was way back when I was working at Best Buy, and back then I partied a lot, and so I'd gotten like an hour and a half of sleep, and then had to work, and I was
done that
just
before.
near dead.
I've done that.
And a coworker was like, "Here, take this with this," and he handed me 2 No-Dos and a Red Bull, and so I was like, clunk, clunk.
God.
I had energy for about 15 minutes, and
And
then
it
I was
was
like, "I'm ready for a nap."
Extreme energy. I use caffeinated
No,
pre-workout
I was
powder.
awake. I was vertical.
I had a student who had to drink Mountain Dew in the afternoon to calm down. So caffeine doesn't actually give you energy, says Alicia. Sorry, I always say Alicia. It acts on ADP receptors to hide your body's ability to know that it's tired. So you work to the point of exhaustion. There is more coffee than caffeine, though. It's the acidity that gets you too. So caffeine doesn't actually give you energy. It just acts on your ADP receptors to hide your body's ability to know that it's tired. Yes, coffee as comfort is why it's in here. I usually have a No-Dose with a pre-workout drink which has caffeine. That's usually just so I can drive without feeling sleepy. Wow, Disciple, meet Catch, Disciple. Yay, kindred spirits of abusing incredible amounts of caffeine to function. Are you also an engineer, Disciple? This would make more sense. Tim doesn't drink water. Tim, are you drinking water? Hydrate.
I just finished saying Monster Energy Drinks has water in it.
That's terrible.
It's mostly water.
That's terrible. I
with
never drank
a lot of
water
other stuff.
growing up. There was a reason behind it. My dad worked near my school, and he would drop me off when he would go to work, and he would pick me up from school when he was done with work. So I was at school from 7 a.m. till 6 p.m. pretty much 5 days a week. I would go to the gym in the morning, and I would do my homework in the evenings. The problem with my really ridiculously private all-girls school, the toilets would barely work, and almost 100% fail rate. It either had no toilet paper or it wouldn't flush. Now, you can only get traumatized so many times going to an all-girls school with bathrooms that don't work, so I just stopped drinking water for 5 years. Stopped drinking water.
All jokes aside, I do drink water. You don't have to worry about it.
Okay, because I was a little bit worried because I was going to go into a deep dive on
You
cold
were worried
water is how
because
I prefer water, and I drink out of a bottle. And like the bottle thing only took off, I feel like, in the last couple of years. And so I would always have a water bottle. And if I had a water bottle, I would drink more water. I don't drink out of cups. I don't eat cereal out of bowls. I eat them out of cups.
I had a friend that carried a gallon jug of water around with him to class
Yeah,
on campus.
there's always that guy with the big vat, just in case. XL says, perhaps this is the book that was rough and maybe 3 was better. I read both 2 and 3 last week. I had some notes on them, but they didn't save, so a little fuzzy on the details. I usually get 5 to 6 hours sleep and somehow survive. There were studies done on that, and there's a percentage of people, I think it's like less than 10% of people that can function really well on between like 4 and 6 hours of sleep a night. My dad's one of them. He only gets like 5 hours of sleep every night. It's all he needs, all he's ever needed. I need 8.5. I am precious. Don't fuck with my sleep. Jeff, you're a 5-hour sleeper as well. Sugar is what gives you energy, says Alicia. So energy drinks use both sugar and caffeine. Ali's my nickname. We're all good. Okay, cool. Okay, good. I love room temperature water. Cold water is hard to gulp down. Yes, it's not good taking my morning vitamins, but cold water tastes better. Cold water is better. And I have like a long-term fight with one of my Aussie besties, because she just cannot stand cold water. She will only have room temperature water. And we both think the others are better. Disciple says, no, just a mum of 2 boys and excessive craft hobbies. Oh, there you go. That's so funny. I love it that I completely have like an image of a Bobaverse fan, and you corrected me 100%. That's fun. There you go. A mum of 2 boys with excessive craft hobbies. We have a craft channel in our Discord. It's so freaking wholesome. Lisa crochets. Lisa crocheted my banner. It was all the books that we did for book club last year. It's one of my favorite things on the set. Yay! Colleen says, I almost got no sleep when I was raising kids. I'm making up for that now. That's one of the reasons why I'm so glad I couldn't have kids. That would be very difficult for me. What did I miss from the book discussion? Academic? Nothing. I'm very distracted. A degree above freezing is best. Yes, occult. Sick. I have to drive 40 kilometers to the bus stop and back twice a day for school. That's why I need caffeine. 40 kilometers? Hold on, you said kilometers. Where are you living? Are you Aussie? 40 kilometers in England is like 17 counties. Where else has kilometers in the world? Everywhere except America.
Everywhere.
Maybe I'm just like so
There
desperate.
are like 5 countries that don't.
It's so
Out of
guys,
200 plus.
America, not having
Don't
metrics.
mess with my freedom units.
Don't. The metric system is so superior in every single way.
It makes so much more sense,
on
and I will
behalf of
vote
the
for
rest
whatever
of the
piece
country,
of despicable human
it's
garbage
embarrassing. Feet,
switches.
inches. Surely, as an engineer, you're like a centimeter is
Yes.
100 millimeters.
100%. I will vote for whatever despicable piece of human garbage advocates for conversion to the metric system in America. Yeah.
What's the PAV? Oh no! Academic, can you talk about the PAV? There's no
Okay,
hope.
so
There's no hope. For them.
our cohort of Bobs are exploring the universe, and they come across this new system called Delta Pavonis. On this system, they find two planets in Delta Pavonis, or there are 2 close nearby systems. One contains Delta Pavonis, which is this planet that has meerkat-like creatures about 6 feet tall, and they are in their industrial era. So think coal, mining plants, smoke spill in the sky, breeding like bunnies, all of this is happening in the Pavonis world. And the others are on a flight path towards this system. And so the Bobs are trying to figure out how to rescue the path. So the question here is, how do you find the Bobs' resolution? Like, do you try? They were both trying to fight the others while rescue the Pavs. Was their plan for rescuing the Pavs the way that you would have gone about it?
Were they rescued? They all died? Guys,
No,
what?
they were abducted. Like 10,000 of them were abducted by the Bobs. Like given no warning, just like beamed up.
I promise you.
Kidnapped.
I promise you I
Kidnapped.
listened to the book.
Yes, alien abductions.
The Bobs abducted Pavs? That's fucked up, guys.
Well, I mean, the alternative was that they get completely wiped out by the others. So,
but this is
that-
the concept again. It's like, who do you pick and choose? You can save 10. Who are you going to save? In this case, it was 10,000. How do they feel about it? I'm guessing not good. This will trigger a memory for the book. How did they communicate with Pavs?
Bob spent time on this planet and learned how to
collated the data.
But it was just 2 drones. Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Okay. This is another alien species in this book. It's not. I mean, I'm sure I would have liked this book better than the first book. I'm sure I would have.
Do you have a rating? Are you?
It's literally next to me. I should have you know what? When I realized, no, because I wanted to get through it as fast as possible. I'm going to be so honest with you guys. And I was so concerned with getting all my dentist questions. That was my priority. So this, I'm barely skating through this. I've got an F on my test. I get that. I'm literally asking the teacher. I'm the teacher, and I'm asking the students to fill in the questions for me. I think I only had 1 more of those spends this year, and I'm spending it on this book. So Rhythm of War, I will have memorized.
No, you do that.
That's what needs to happen for the rest of the year here to make good on this one. Occult Stool is telling everyone that
feeling about this.
Thank you. Oh, I'm talking about you. If you drink hot boiling water, so if you like lots of hot tea, you are more likely, or just as likely, to get mouth cancer than if you smoke.
Based on what?
Let's ask. So Dart lives in the US, but I wish we would standardize on the metric system. Thank you. Did we find out where? Yes, Aussie. Haha, I called it. I mean, I don't want to ask where you are, but my mum grew up in rural Australia. I'm rural, so it takes 40 kilometers there and 40 kilometers home twice a day. Yeah, that's what my mum used to have to do. There was like one bus and it would go that far. That's fascinating. Guys, you're like, so much of the world has kilometers. And I'm like, am I homesick or am I just like fishing for an Aussie? Found one. She's in the future, by the way, everyone. There's a water world in this book. Yes, I did know that. Ooh, you guys should ask me quiz questions and I'll say if I know it or not. Actually, don't. That will be embarrassing. Victorian age tech. I'm catching up on all the comments here. The upside, at least the French, we defeated them. We get the metric system. Okay, 20K. 20K was saved, says Darren. Not 10,000, 20,000. Okay. In a sense, they were rescued. This is the topic of discussion that we're going to get to. What would you do in this situation? Maud Garrett, did you read the book? Thank you, Lisa, for putting me on blast. I respect it. It is only earned. I did, but I'm very concerned with how much I didn't retain. And I did say, transparency is key here. I said 50%. That means half the fucking book. That means the other half I don't have. Pavs didn't make the cut. Mustn't have been interesting for me. No one tell Ray Porter that I only consumed half of this book. No one tell Ray Porter. I'll never hear the end of it. Or actually I will, and it won't retain that either, so we're fine. Okay. They gassed them and abducted them. If you listened slower than 2 times, you might remember, says Occult. 1.85, but you're also right as well. It was a non-violent abduction. There were 2 towns. Otherwise, they would have all been food for the others. So it was a rescue mission. They asked who will pay for it. Thank you, K. Frito. Yes, dialogue sound bites help with memories. Okay, I know exactly who they are now. We're back. Yes, they're a capitalist society. That's what I took from it. They've got no table manners. The Pabs were meerkat-like. Yeah. He creeped on them with hidden cameras. I'm getting that. Hand-wavy translation. What does that mean? That's how it happened. Got it. That's a sci-fi term. The Pavs like being in groups of 8. I do remember that. I have no idea where this comment comes from because I'm trying to back through the conversation, but KP Dub says everyone loves a hottie. No context. No context needed. It's fine.
Tea was mentioned.
Oh, the tea. Got it. There was part of a love story in this book. Yes, Bridget, I know that whole thing. I paid attention to that, believe it or not. I'm using kilometers in our game tomorrow. Sick. New South Wales near Wagga Wagga. Oh, yeah. That's not near Dapto, is it? I'm starting to forget. I've lived in America for 12 years, by the way. Disciple, please don't hold it against me. How do we feel about Bridget and Stefan? We're going to get to that one because I do know that. Howard's a creep. Is he? We're going to have that conversation after Pavs. I want to say it again in case it gets missed. They gassed the Pav they abducted. This is XL saying it. Okay. Let's talk about the moral implications. Hold on. Please discuss. Oh, yeah, we'll get to that. V, capital V. I listened to 1.7. Mum the Dark. I'm still getting through all the comments here. Oh, Occult Stool quoted the source for hot tea cancer. Mouth cancer. There you go. He learned their language from reading the reading clubs. Okay. Yes. I think what I'd done is not paid attention. I thought that this was another Delton side plot, and then I was like, wait, how? And I tried to shoehorn in that information once I found out it was a completely different race. But yeah, I found it really weird that there were meerkats that were having book clubs. I was like, this is not piecing together for me. But the societal, it was interesting. Didn't know that they were that far advanced, and they gassed 20,000 of them, and they're on a ship. Okay, talk me through this process, because there are pros and cons, obviously, and this is what would you do in the situation? Who was running the PAV? Which Bob was on that PAV Mish? Which Bob had the PAV?
Was it Jacques?
It was Jacques or Charles. I think Jacques started it and then handed it off to Charles.
Excel says that makes me laugh so hard. It's so absurd. Okay, so the others had discovered the PAV and were going to eat them. Got it. So the other is the huge threat. I did get that from it. Claude, I thought, because Charles was still in Seoul, right? I didn't stand a chance. Guys, I never stood a chance with this book.
Too many Bobs.
Do you know what I did have for a while, the train of thought that wasn't the book while I was listening to it. It reminded me of Foundation. And this is plot first, not characters. I'm not able to latch on to a character arc because too much time goes through. And for me, this was like a Foundation 2.0. Okay, so Academic and Jeff are both breaking their necks going, So let me try to explain what I mean. Lisa and I have had this conversation many times. We are character readers. Give me the character or the group of characters whose story I'm following because I know their objective, right? Bob, too many. All spread out for over too long of time. Where's my anchor? Dennis said he writes character first.
The character is the anchor. Like you pick your favorite Bobs and you're like, okay, I'm really interested in what they're doing. And that sometimes changes from book to book. So like you're right, the time is vast. Like it's hundreds of years that can happen in between these books that have been released so far. But the anchor is like, okay, I know who Bob is, I know who Howard is, I know who Bill is, I know what gets their engines running, and I identify with this one or Riker or so forth and so on.
Can you guys be so for real with me? So honest, brutally honest. How obvious was it when talking to Dennis when he would answer a question about something in the book and I would go, how obvious was it that I didn't know? It was up there. Be honest, it's fine. A lot. Okay, Frito. A lot. Yeah, he's like, me? I relate to Bill. And I'm like, Bill. Bill was Generation 2. Bill was almost like the first one made. I can tell you about the first half of the first book. He was number 3. Riker, then Bill. Got it. So I should know Bill. What's Bill's arc? I loved Homer. Yeah, I loved Homer. Got Homer's story. Understood Homer in book 2. Thought it was interesting. We haven't talked about what yet. Can we talk about Homer? Okay, so we still have an hour. In this hour, we're going to talk about the moral implications of trying to save the PAVs, the pros and the cons of it. We're going to talk about the hacking group called the Vehement, who are basically radicals and terrorists. It's a terrorist organization, essentially, and what they did to Homer and the implications of that. We're also going to talk about Howard and his non-dick that he, that's that. It's an Aussie. I know, the evil Aussies and Kiwis. I know, they started off as Switzerland. Now they're just fucked up. I love it. She doesn't know. What do you mean? No, I know about that one. Maud is a consistent performer regardless of how well-versed she is. Thank you. I might not know the book, but I'll hopefully make it entertaining that I don't know the book. So Dart says, look, I do think you pulled it off well. Having the chat to turn to for questions really helped with things that you didn't have down. Thank you, Sir Dart. I love that you are new here because you're actually being nice to me, and that's how I can tell. The longer you're here, the more no one is safe. I will make fun of you. You will make fun of me. And that is how this goes. We just don't do any below the belt punches. But if I'm asking for honesty about, can you tell that I don't know about something enough, and you say, no, you fucking sucked during that, I'd be like, fair. Okay. I mean, that's how I made my bed. K. Freda says, yeah, we don't care anymore. Lol. But we are, as a whole, respectful. We're just, I guess, not. Yeah, we're not horrible. We're not bullies. We're blunt. Has the cut on your leg fully healed yet? No. No, it hasn't. No, it fucking had. It looks exactly the same. This thing is not... It's going to scar my leg, and no one
You'll be
believes
fine,
me.
Mott. You'll be
No one
fine.
believes me. It's going to scar my legs next to a scar on
We've
my
been over this. You will not have a scar. Just calm down.
It's still there. It's still there. Thank you, Robin.
Yeah, and it will be for like 2 weeks, and then it'll be fine.
No, it's been 6. I don't know time.
And what did I tell you last time we went over this?
Okay. Alicia says, okay, we got to talk about Homer's unlifing. I don't know if targeting his abuser is really the answer. It doesn't take away from the fact that the author killed off a character favorite. Yes, he did say calm down to me. Ha! That's okay. Everyone's giving me theirs in the comment. I got 3 different theirs. That's so sweet. Yay. See, we are nice to each other. Now, is it backed with a little bit of mockery? Absolutely. And I'm aware of that, but it's healthy mockery. KP Dub says, I'm just paying off this month's insults. And he donated money. I like that. You can make fun of me, but I will invoice. I will invoice for emotional damage. Great. Cool. Homer didn't get shot 18 times. Jeff!
Emotional damage.
God, I hate the fact that my eyes are glassing up. I hate it. I hate that it's doing that to me. If you're new here, Jeff is exploiting a wound of a previous character who's a favorite of mine in the Red Rising series, and he's comparing deaths. Did I have this reaction to Homer? No, I didn't. Like I asked Dennis, I'm like, why don't you just reprogram the trauma? No, it is a personality. Fuck. Ugh.
Mongo and Kiwi are
Like,
appalled.
18 is too many.
Well, I mean, I see a lot of people did actually like Homer a lot. So from the first book, especially,
But it
and this
needed
book-
consequence. Oh, no.
I mean,
XL, this is a character from the Red Rising series. My favorite character from the Red Rising series, and it was very traumatic. Hey, I'm nice sometimes. Donated $22. I love that it had to be 22. Yes, because of the name, but also because you've insulted me slightly more. And the balance. Play the voice message. Oh, bloody Pierce and I keep texting, and so the voice message. I've got 19 questions being messaged to me. Why do people think I have answers? I mean, I'm demonstrating I don't know shit tonight. Christ. Oh, why have they changed that you can't look up messages? Why can't I look up Pierce and it brings up Pierce's text message? Why are you doing this? It should just come up. Here we go, Pierce Brown. Let me try and look through links. No. Info. No. It should. Oh my God. There's an
you did
update.
this.
This should have attachments. It should have attachments, and they've not download 90 attachments in iCloud. There's a voice message. Yeah, but you make conduct amazing interviews. Yeah, I read all of them. I just don't remember too. Oh, you have read all of Red Rising. Yeah. Golden Boy. Okay, well, I have to download 90 attachments. Apple, stop fucking with shit, okay? You make it so much harder.
I would have let the PAV die.
Thank you. You would have let them all die?
Yep.
Name another species that didn't make it because it was someone else's food and why it didn't matter that they were extinct. That's the answer. The PAVs would have been eradicated from memory. Now, is that fair? Maybe, maybe not. What makes the other so special? Thank you, KP Dubs and Tim, by the way. Very sweet.
Well, I think what makes them special, at least in so far what we've seen, is like beyond the normal threats he's had faced. This is one threat he can't deal with pretty easily. Like he's been able to just defeat most of the threats pretty easily. Like he mentions this, like he has a technological advantage against a lot of the enemies he's faced in the past. In this case, the enemies are much more dangerous than most, and they don't have a solid plan and taking care of them. Like he has an idea, but like he's just like at this point he's like, okay, we have to come up with an actual solid plan, because even at that we get to the end of the book and there's nothing is resolved. It's kind of ends just like, oh, we'll come up with something, and then next time. So that kind of disappointing, but like yeah, unfortunately the others are very powerful. They have these ridiculously large ships that I think Jeff wants something to say.
Yeah, good, Jeff.
I guess they don't give them a choice, right? Like he gives them a choice once they're already up on the ship. And so it's like, oh, we kidnapped 20,000 of you. Great. But now suddenly you have to decide, do you want to go back to this dead planet that all of your relatives and everybody just died on, or do you want to start over at a new place? And that's the choice they get. Not like there should have been like a third choice of, or do you just want us to eject you all out into space and forget it? Like, because I don't know, like
But
just
then
like
you're
I'm
asking
assuming
20,000 to come up with a unanimous decision as well. That's also
he only wakes up 8. He wakes up 8 people and says, you 8 people are the representative of your entire 20,000 person race, and that's all that's left of you. And so you 8 have to make a decision. And like it's totally unfair on so many levels, and it's like the survivor's guilt that would exist in that group is insane. Like I can't even wrap my head around like not being Bob. Bob, that's an easy choice, right? You can assuage your guilt of not being able to stop the others from killing everyone by saving 20,000, whoopity-doo. But really, like, put yourself in a PAV's position, and it's like, I would have rather died with my fellow people.
ask them for I'm doing a poll. The first one lasted 1 minute and no one talked about it because I forgot to mention it was 1 minute. So we're doing a 3-minute poll. The poll is about the PAV. What are our options? Save them, ask them first.
Eject them too.
Can you arm them with something to defend themselves from the others? No? Ask them, save them, let them die. Okay.
Also, isn't like he partially doing this because like he got rejected basically from the Deltans, and now he needs another family again? So he's like, oh, isn't there?
Totally different Bob.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
First Bob was monitoring. See, I'm answering a question. Darren did ask a question earlier, and I was like, why the fuck are you asking me that one? So I'll ask everyone else here. What was your question, Darren?
I think it was only Shock that one wanted to save them. Like all of the stuff was, oh, we're just doing this is just the place for us to do battle with the others, and it just happened to be the like that specific system. The specific system also had a lot of other stuff that the others wanted, not just the PAVs. The PAV just happened to be there. Because there was the two systems that they thought that were the next in line. They thought it was going to be one, and then it turned out it was going to be the other, and that sort of threw a wrench in their plans. And it was just like, okay, all hands on deck to this fight over this other planet. Why they chose or had to do it, I don't think it was specifically because of the PAV, but Jacques was the one that was in the system, and he's the one that sort of got to know them a little bit and came up with the plan to save it. And he's like, I'm doing this regardless of whether the vote from the group says do it or not. He sort of did it on his own.
XL says the Pav have an interestingly reaction at the end of the book. There's an imperative where they feel the need to pay for being saved. Up to this point, the Bobs haven't really been engaged in finances. There's a generosity or charitableness here. I'm forgetting the word. I do think, Alicia says, I do think Bob should have realized that fighting the others makes the humans a target in the future. Yeah, they're like, you're just food. Ta-ta for now. Did he wake up 8? Or I thought it was just 2 at first. Kfrito, you said let them die. The majority of people said save them. There is an understanding that if there is an intelligent life force, you should try to preserve it as best as possible. Alicia says there wasn't time to save them all. Jay Buntrock says save them and then sell them to the others. Jay Buntrock, your evil is showing. We thought we were going to keep that in check a little better. Bob is for saving intelligent species in the universe. I agree. XL says, by saving them, they exposed them to alien technology and advanced their knowledge by many periods. They were essentially in the early 1900s, our time. Typically, they have tried to avoid impacting other species so much, sourcing the Prime Directive from Star Trek as a reason for constraint. Fighting them just moved things forward faster. There you go. Weren't finances involved with Howard's Brewery? I think they just don't they just summon it? Oh no, yeah, they're distilling. Was it vodka with the potatoes? Yeah, no. Yeah, they're making booze.
Whiskey.
I thought potatoes were being made in there somewhere. Oh, Kfrito says, no. I said let them die as an option for the poll. I was voting to save them. Okay, so who did vote? Because 11 of you said save them. 3 of you said ask them first. 2 of you said let them die. Whoever said let them die, you have the floor.
That would obviously be me.
Obviously, Jeff. I'm looking straight at you.
So there you go. I guess I think, again, there's like you have to look at it from the Pav's point of view. Do they really want to exist? Like, after their entire planet has just been wiped out. So therefore, basically their entire culture, everything they've ever known is gone. And now they're going to be dependent, which actually they fight against in the discussion when they're woken up. Like, they don't want to be dependent on a Bob for obvious reasons. And so, but they're stuck being dependent on a Bob because wasn't
that better
there's
than
no
dead?
upside.
Yeah.
There's no upside for them here. Like, no, because they wouldn't have known any different, because it wasn't like the way the others kill things is like a gamma burst and then you're gone. Like, and there would have been no pain, no anything. It just would have been done. There are other planets that have had this happen, and other civilizations. They talk about there were planets with cities and stuff that got destroyed, and like, that's sad. But nobody's talking about, oh, we should have tried to save them because it happened before, and this is going to happen again.
Portion of them.
But what are those 20,000 going to do, really?
They will rebuild. Jay Buntrock, you had your hand up. They can die later if they want, says Kfrito.
Well, they're not instantly dead because they use them as food, so they're still captured and taken into the cargo holds and eaten.
That's not the way it's explained.
Mass consumption.
Yeah, they talk about loading them up.
Well, they talk about hitting everything with a gamma burst, killing everything, and then loading everything up. It's like mining flesh, essentially, is how I read it anyway.
I thought it talked about that's what the cargo holds are for, is for their food sources as well.
Sure. They're taking the bodies, but they don't want to fight anything. They don't want to have to hurt anything. All they do is they do a gamma burst. They kill everything right down to the bacteria in your gut. They kill everything, and then they go in and they harvest it all.
So Dart says they are dead. They were GRBs. What's that? Oh, killed all biomatter entirely, including the single cells. So how do they eat that then if it's all dead? Gamma ray burst. Thank you.
That's
It's-
another
it's-
science fiction wave of the hand.
Well, I mean, it's still organic material, right? Just because you've killed the single-celled organisms and large organisms doesn't mean that there aren't still calories to be gotten from the protein in the whatever. You're not destroying the amino acids necessarily. Just,
KB Dubs brings up a really good point. How many live things do you eat, Maud? Great question. Everything we eat is already dead, says Ali. I must have just been thinking of a alien race that was dastardly. Gah is best served fresh. No, if we were hit with a hypernova, half of our planet would be toast. What's a hypernova? What's a hypernova? Maud killed
I mean, I
thousands
guess my
of
question
jelly
is-
beans. Yeah.
my question is this: so you're a PAV, you're one of the 20,000 that just got
Saved.
saved, and now you're going to be dropped onto another planet that may or may not be able to sustain your way of life. Are you really all that happy about it?
It's another version of playing God, let's be honest. Bob is very much, the foundation of his essence is that he is all about preservation. He's trying to preserve as much as possible. He's trying to preserve human life by finding planets that are inhabitable. He's trying to find other species, and should they become extinct, he's trying to save and preserve them. K. Frida says, I think K. Frida says, happy in a few generations, maybe. Yeah, once you've grown past the trauma of things. Alicia says, I think relocation is better than extinction. Yeah, which one's the lesser evil? And this is like what we were talking about last week. Should you let nature take its course, or should you interfere as best as possible? Now, in a way, have they created an alliance in the universe with the Pavs by rescuing them? Can they get anything from it? Like, no, it's just, yeah. Yes.
They're in the industrial age.
Yeah. James?
Actually, I think you just explained it, because Bob's first mission, his whole purpose was the survival of the human race. So he went out there to explore to find habitable planets to repopulate the human race. So that tracks with him seeing the Pav, seeing they're going to be extinct, and he has to save them. It would make less sense for him to let them die, since he was brought out there for his whole purpose was to save the human race. So it's kind of a tangent off of what he was meant to do, even.
Alicia
And
says,
he's kind of stuck with that the whole time.
when you're in a position with more resources, there's an obligation to help those without. Jeff.
But that's not his purpose. Like, his original purpose is just to like explore, right? Like, initially,
No, his purpose was to find other habitable planets, because the humans
I think-
sent him out there.
I think they're talking past each other, right? Like Bob's desire is to explore the world, like the universe, but his like he also has the same thing. Oh, I think I'm going to find other planets along the way, and I might as well send that back to Earth, right? So like they're not misaligned objectives that they have, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think like also there's a difference between what Bob wants necessarily and what his directive was. Like I said, maybe Bob wants to explore the world. That's what he said he wanted to do, but his directive was to go out and to find places for the humans to survive.
Also, if this is Jacques that is leading this one, did he adopt more of the empathy, humanitarian portion of Bob? Because we see that with Bob with the Deltons. So is that amplified in Jacques? Who's Jacques' directive? Who's Jacques' senior? Who created Jacques? Because we're getting a lot more of this like empathetic trait of we must preserve, we must save. There's a savior, not a savior complex, but it's like what Alicia's trying to say. When you have more resources, you try to help those without. This isn't for any sort of gain at all. It's just to help. It is just aid that's being given, even though, yeah, when you can.
I mean, he's still Bob,
He's still Bob,
right? Like, yeah. So like, if you go back far enough, he's coming from the same person. So
Shark was made by Mario, who was the loner. Oh.
And even Mario, you saw wanted to get away from everyone, but then when he found evidence of others, he felt obligated to go back and warn everyone about the threat.
Okay. Yes.
I think we talked about this last week. I said that Bob is sort of a sapient chauvinist, right? Like he cares more about like the propagation and survival of intelligent life, and so like we just sort of see this play out time and time again with each new species he comes across.
Yes, correct. And this one was interesting because it was, instead of watching them live out sort of like their life, it was, oh shit, you're about to be wiped out. Okay, hold on. Let's see what we can do. Cool, we're going to gas 20,000 of you, put you on our ship, and hope that we can do something with this. We possibly have a planet for you to relocate you on. Best of luck. Oh, by the way, all of these flashing lights, yeah, you'll get there in like 80 to 100 or 300 years or 600 years. Yeah, you'll get there. Best of luck. You're not dead. Bye. The others killed Jacques. Jacques? Jacques. I should know this. Foot Jewelry Creator says, hi, that makes me nervous. There was a copy saved. Welcome. We are talking about For We Are Many. Well, the community is talking about For We Are Many. I am navigating some of the talking points for the book. The next one we're going to get into, the rejection of Archimedes. Who saw this coming? Bob played God for far too long. People were just like, stop, you're making bad decisions. And he's like, no, you don't see it. I'm trying, and you haven't seen that there's like another enemy here, and we didn't know it because it could camouflage. But hey, I'm showing off now because I was listening to this part of the book because I liked it. The hippogriffs were there, and it's like, no, because if you weren't listening to me, you'd all be dead anyway. Why? I'm trying to help you. And then, you know, as a collective, they all shunned Bob. Did you see that coming?
Yep.
Unintended consequences, says Colleen. He fucked around and found out, essentially. Why don't you like the Delton subplot? For those that can't stand the Deltons, why is that? Confess.
They're boring. They're in the first of all, I like the Delton subplot, but like they're in the rock and pointy stick era of their journey. Like there's not much there. They're still trying to figure out how to rub Flintstones together to make spears. Like, yeah. It's novel for the first time you're introduced to the new species, but after that it's like, okay,
move it along.
Let's hurry it up. Where's the sci-fi? No, yeah.
I feel that.
It's slow.
I feel that. Vaden, you and I have a very similar question with this. My next question was the relationship between Bob and Diana. Where is this hostility coming from? Why does Bob hate Diana so much?
The opposite. Why does Diana hate Bob
Why
so much?
does Diana hate Bob? No, Bob has a disdain for Diana right back. Yes, he does. That's
secondary.
He almost wants to protect Archimedes from Diana. Like, they have a disdain for each other. Trust me, there's 2 fucking female characters in this book, and he spends a lot of time hating one of them. I noticed that. He has the other one trying to fuck her, and when he can't, he gets sad. Right? Like, oh my God, I hope that doesn't.
I mean, Diana is trying to mess up the thing he's got going with his boy Archimedes. That's why.
Are you okay, Maud?
Really hope that Dennis is having tea right now. I hope he's having dinner and living his best life. What were you saying, Vaden, about the Diana relationship?
Yeah, basically, yeah. The reason he doesn't like Diana is because she doesn't like him. That's it. Like, he has no particular reason for to hate her. Besides that, like she tries to put him off. Tries to keep potentially not. Basically, so the main thing she does that specifically pisses him off the most is partway through the book when he gets rejected. He's looking at her as he's getting rejected from being, sent off away from the society, and she's super happy, bad and smug, as that's his opinion on what she looks, and very satisfied. And he takes that as like, oh man, I never hated someone as much as I hated Diana. And it's purely because he felt like he did so much for these people, and they're just rejecting him, and he thinks it's partially because of her. We have no clue why. I still have no clue why. Would Diana had any part in that, or she just was part of a faction, hates him? I don't know.
Bob saw himself in Archimedes.
Yes.
Bob is trying to craft Archimedes like in his stead and help him and make him the hero of the tribe. Diana was getting in the way of that. And he had to compete with Diana for Archimedes' loyalty, attention, whatever it was. Bob was the third wheel. And Bob didn't want to be the third wheel. And Diana had agency and suspicion and was just like, what is this strange thing doing coming? And by the way, when we do what it says, we die. Like, here's some logic. And I don't know. I just feel like that animosity didn't need to exist if Bob could get out of his own way, because he was just trying to create his image so much that it's like he wasn't trying to better all of them. He really was trying to make Archimedes the hero of that story, because he wasn't the strongest, but he was the smartest. And he was like, that I can work with. I see myself there. For me personally, having that level of disdain, like Diana not liking Bob, part of me is like, why wouldn't Bob try to win her over? Because it was never about Diana. And I just think if you want sort of like the tribe to accept you, stop making Archimedes your single-handed puppet, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. That's definitely a good point. Like, we're focused on Deltans is mostly on Archimedes. Like, there's some about Moses, and there's also like some Diana, and also the what do you think they call it, the witch lady or something. Basically, who also hates him, and like, it's unclear if she's trying to, or he has kind of personal issue that causes him to make it hard for people to get along with him. Essentially, like, we know this has been a problem for the past with other people, but like it's unclear. Like, I wish it was explained more. Like, I wish we got more information.
It just felt like it was like, fuck, he just hates this chick.
Yeah, well, it was just like, yeah, she hates him, and we're like, okay, we kind of have a suspicion why, but we're not sure. And then he hates her back, and then she dies, and like, okay, well, where's the actual resolution here? It doesn't. She dies. Okay, now she's out of the picture, but that's not satisfying. It wasn't good. It didn't feel like narratively, it didn't feel great. I was like, okay, it's over now, but I wasn't.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's when it dragged out just that little bit too long for the people that it wasn't the favorite part of the book. XL saying, I think he even voiced that in his monologue. Alicia saying, Bob is also bigoted against the unscientific. Those with greater intelligence are valued more. I loved the witch lady. There was something about her arm barring one of the drones that made me literally laugh out loud. Disciple says, I've got to head off for school pickup. Enjoy the rest of the discussion. Aw, thank you so much for stopping on by. I really do appreciate that. Enjoy the 40 kilometers. Whatever you do, don't listen to what is Sydney. I don't know what you get out near Wagga Wagga. I was going to make a bad Hit FM joke that no one in America gets, but you would get. But thank you. Yay, I have another Australian. Yay. More, please. More Aussies. Take over. Pianki said he wants them to grow in intelligence and progress as fast as possible, so he would have preferred a better match for Archimedes for smarter children. Bob has so much disdain for the simple-minded Deltans. But then he dresses up as a Deltan, and he stinks, and his patterns suck. And he's like, no, this is terrible. Try again. And he's like, okay. Diana made Bob feel like the third wheel. Yeah. Bob doesn't like Diana because she doesn't like him, and he sees her as less intelligent. Yeah, there you go. Disciple was saying they both love Archimedes. Yeah. Excel says, there's an idea of when helping hurts. I wonder if she's recognized that he might be doing more harm than good, or at least fears that will happen. He's seeing big picture. They don't know big picture. They don't even know these hippogriffs are there. Like, they don't know much. And so he's able to be like, sure, there's some losses now, but down the track, 80, 100, 200 years, you'll be great. They don't know that. They know about the immediacy. They know day to day. They know moment to moment. So it's like, that's not comprehending. Triple M says Toaster Poster. Hey, that is one of them. And they do play Midnight Oil, so there you go. Why is Howard the biggest creep in the series? This was a really interesting part. The Howard and Bridget moments I absorbed. That's in my 50%. I did think it was interesting that he was making sort of relationships with humans. He needed a biologist. So like, boom, in pops Bridget. Realizes that he gets along with her. He's attracted to her. These are all things. He forgets he's a replicant. He's caught feels. He doesn't even realize that she's with someone else. He feels rejected almost by that. And I feel like he has almost this existential crisis of like, oh, I can never be loved. I can never be with a person because I forgot I wasn't a person. Now, is it creepy that he has feelings? I don't think so. I think that this is part of his development and understanding. Yes, Jeff?
All right. So here's my thesis on why he's such a creep.
Okay.
Is that he never tells her he has feelings. Like, he's the guy who just expects that she likes him back because they're friends. And I don't think it even matters that he's not human because they have a relationship. And could that relationship be some sort of romantic something that's non-traditional? Sure, whatever. It could have been. But he never says anything. He just feels like because this is a woman and I like her, I have some sort of right to her. Like, I have a right to have a relationship with her. And then I introduce her to my other friend. And then suddenly they're dating. Oh my God. Like, they've both betrayed me. And then it's like, then they're going to get married. And then he's like, okay, I got to get the heck out of here because
I can't be friends with her. Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
I was helping her and I liked her because I thought I had a chance. But now that I can't have anything with her, she has no value to me anymore.
Pretty sure that's the definition of a creep.
I had a completely different read of that,
I have a lot of guy friends who are creeps in my life. Someone said that on a TikTok and I had to sit with it for a bit. Someone said if a guy has a lot of friends who are girls, they were a failed talking stage. And I'm like, oh, a failed talking stage. Like, tried to date them, didn't get there, so hung around as friends, just in case she ever changes her mind.
Not all.
Well, wait. I have a completely different read of the Howard Bridget situation.
Tell me yours. I need chocolate. Tell me yours.
So I think everything that you factually said, like about descriptively, okay, Howard liked Bridget. He was also friends with Stefan first, if we're doing timelines correctly here. And I don't think that he had an expectation of an actual like romantic relationship with her, but they already had a working relationship with each other. They had a friendship because of like the fact that they were working together, and it didn't seem like he wanted to exert any ownership over her, and he wasn't one of those hangers around. In fact, like you just said, like he's like, okay, I need to protect myself and leave out of it because I'm way too invested in this relationship, right? So it's not like he's like, okay, I'm hound dogging her the entire time. It's like, okay, let me step away. Now I understand what you're saying, that okay, if you were just there for the romantic part of the relationship, why, or rather, if you were there for more than just the romantic part of the relationship, you would still stick around for the friendship, correct?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, I 100% agree. But like, what happens if if you catch feelings as a friend? Like, which of those feelings matters more?
Is he protecting himself from the pain of seeing her with someone else?
Right.
The question is, when does he develop feelings, right? This is the question. The question is, does he develop feelings after she's already with Stefan?
No, before.
Which then is like, yeah, I don't want to interrupt that. And so I'm going to absent myself from this. Or does he catch feelings beforehand and never do anything about it? That's what makes him a creep.
People are saying that the realization only kind of kicked in when he realized she was with someone else.
Totally disagree.
Do you think?
I disagree too.
Okay, he had feelings before.
I think so.
Yes, clearly.
I think it's pretty. If it's not explicitly stated, it's heavily hinted at, like in the bar scene or whatever, right? Because Stefan and Bridget aren't together.
I think he does a brief monologue about he thinks he's catching feelings for Bridget, but how could that ever work with him being who he was? I think that happens before the cancer.
Exactly.
And that's where the start of his existential crisis comes into it, because he was like, I kind of agree with Jeff where it was like he had an assumption that they were going to get together. But my thing is it's less creepy and more what Alicia's saying. I don't think he's pathological or sociopathic. I just think it's as much that is socially underdeveloped. I think the penny dropped because he assumed that it could work, but then had to check himself being like, fuck, I'm not a person. Of course she's with a person. She's with another person. I'm not a person. Here I was thinking that this could go well. Maybe I'm not used to dating at all. And he had to be like, wow, I'm getting caught up in the minutia when in actuality, I'm not a fucking person. And then I think his tail was absolutely between his legs because he felt like there was such an oversight that they were together. He felt rejected. Where does rejection come in? Thinking that you could have the thing.
But there are two problems with this. One is that he's already thinking about replicating other people. And the second is that he is also already thinking about androids. And so he is already making plans to make this relationship work in some way in his head.
Without her consent, being with her, without them.
Without even talking to her. Without even saying he has feelings.
The Android project was Bill's thing. That wasn't Howard's thing.
But Howard was paying attention to it. And it's mentioned multiple times through the book that Howard is paying attention to it.
That's fair.
Jimmy's saying it seems like communication's the real issue, regardless of a will they, won't they. That's what your argument is, Jeff. The lack of communication. He's not saying, hey, what do you think?
It's his feeling of proprietorship over her. Like, it's this feeling of like, she's mine because I have feelings. And that like comes through, to me, that comes through really strongly in the writing. And all of this sort of dropped hints of we need to be figuring out how to replicate other people. We need to like whatever. And then
feelings.
And the other stuff is all stemming from the fact that he has these feelings and he's going to make this relationship work because he has these feelings. And obviously she likes him. Obviously, why wouldn't she? He's Howard, whatever. And it's like, there's this weird, creepy, like ownership of her sort of that relationship. And that's where that's where I check out on the Howard story completely. And I know where it goes from here in the later books. And there's some sort of redemption, I suppose. And so maybe that's where you're going, academic. But like,
so hold on. Let me go
terrible.
through this with you, Jeff. So what would be the cure to him being a creep? If he actually told Bridget about his feelings, she would say, what the hell, dude? You're not even a person. And he was like, holy shit, you're right. Sorry, I just thought that there might be something here because we get along really well. But oh my God, I'm going to disappear because I'm sad that I was reminded that I'm not a person.
That would have been one way for it to go, because that would have been at least honest and not asserting some sort of ownership without having discussed anything.
So it's just
that would have been one way for it to
go. Him being trapped in more of a fantasy than the reality of a situation.
Right, and then feeling hurt. Well, no, but what it is...
Because when I start dating someone, I build a fantasy of who I think they are, not who they actually are, and I fall in love with the potential of a person.
But that's different, okay. I think.
The fundamentals are the same.
Not to try and defend you, but
You did,
that's
though.
different.
Can we mark this time? 7:37 p.m. It is the 20th of November. I was calling myself a creep, and Jeff's like, no, you're not.
The difference here is that you're not like,
I'm not assuming I have someone.
how do I say?
No.
Right. You're not making assumptions about like the feelings of the other person. You're dating the person, right? You're not. The issue is that he never says anything and he never does anything to like
He was holding out hope,
to
though.
advance it. And sure he was, but then you can't feel hurt. Like if you don't ever say anything, like it's the creepiest thing in history to
assumption.
just like assert dominance and like assume
I like
things.
you, therefore we are together.
Therefore we're together.
Yeah.
And you don't have any right to date anyone else. And so now suddenly you're dating somebody else and now I'm hurt because you've betrayed me now because you're dating somebody else. What happened to our relationship?
Yeah.
You're cheating on me with Stefan. Like this is ridiculous.
No. And
I have to
she's
get the heck out of here.
She's done absolutely nothing wrong. She has existed. She just didn't choose him. He was never an option. He was never
Exactly.
even an option. And I think when reading this, cited my interpretation was more that Howard really kind of was going in as if he was a person, and his whole reality check was the reminder that he wasn't. And could this have been different if he was actually a person? I think that was like the point of contention for him. It was like, oh, well, of course she's with another person. I'm not. I totally forgot. This felt so normal. This felt so natural. I'm actually not natural. And I think that there was almost shame that he had gotten above himself in that way. But yeah, there is a piece there where it would have been cool if he was like, so she was even asking, is this a date? Is this a date? She's like, is this a date? And he's like,
Did he say yes?
She opened the discussion
yeah, she did.
and he
Oh, wait, I thought he said yes.
So
like, I
is
thought she
he
asked,
is
it
he a
date or
creep
pressure?
or is
She did say
he
yes.
just socially awkward?
She asked, "Was this the date or was this business?" And he says both.
Yeah.
It doesn't go anywhere from there, but that he does lead to it a little bit there.
This is I have a lot of, I guess, room for this conversation because my brother's autistic and there are situations where he doesn't think he's doing anything wrong and it's interpreted where, hey, that's not exactly normal behavior and this is how it's being perceived as creepy, right? Because he's not really getting that if you stand next to someone and wait to be asked a question, then that's his process. But if someone never asks the question, he's just standing there. And I feel like in this instance, it's a little bit more of where am I going with this? He's just not understanding of a protocol. And so my thing is he a creep or does he just not understand? Because if he understood, he would have a little bit more confidence behind it. This guy, all we know about Bob is that he has like one ex-girlfriend. I don't think he even got married to her. It was a messy
I think
divorce breakup. He does not see her kindly. I'm not sure that this is a very versed person. So my whole thing is like, because I know that it sucks, but society is like, if a guy asks a girl out and he's really attractive, it's a great thing. But if a guy asks a girl out and he's not attractive at all and she is attractive, he's a creep. Like there's sometimes like that skew there. And I mean, we're in Howard's head, so we should have more information in this. There shouldn't be as much room for interpretation. James.
I just want to make sure my memory's right. When Bridget gets the cancer and then he realizes Stefan and Bridget are together, he doesn't react angrily, right? He just kind of reacts with a sad realization that he was mistaken.
And I don't think it's a fuck you for not choosing me. Or it's like a rejection. I saw it as more of like he finally had self-awareness of, oh my God, I thought that, I could be with a person. I'm not a person. He got swept up in the emotions. He got swept up in looking for a connection. That I think the breakthrough wasn't, oh, I thought I was in a relationship with her and she didn't choose me. She's cheating on me. She's breaking up with me, even though I didn't have her. There are elements of that, absolutely. I saw it a little bit more as He creates a can in the VR and he kicks it. Ah, good point. Good point. Woe is me. There is a woe is me. Okay. There's good evidence. I'm just saying the way that I interpreted it was him being like, God damn it, I'm trying to have a relationship with a human, and obviously that can never happen. Ali says, plus she thought he rejected her because she said she thought he introduced them to set them up. Oh, that's right. There you go. That was a miscommunication. Ish. Misunderstanding. Jeff, are you typing? I was waiting for you to talk. That's part of my point. Right.
Like that's part of it, right? Is that he goes so far as to like not communicate his feelings.
Yeah.
And yet still have this sort of weird thing that he's so naive that he hooks his friends up and doesn't realize that he's just hooked his friends up and then is upset about it. And it's like, what?
Yeah, well, because his intention was, to get her. Yeah.
Right.
Vaden
and he
says,
has such ownership over her that he's not even like thinking that there's a possibility that she and Stefan are gonna end up together. Like this is not even on his radar because
there you go, but it's naive. He's got a naivety about it.
Yeah, it's just a question of whether is it actual ownership or is it ignorance? Like we don't unfortunately we don't. It's a question of do we know enough to say, or we just don't know enough to say.
Vaden's saying, to be fair as well, when you get to know someone, you barely know anything about them. It's understandable to build a fantasy until you actually learn enough. It's only a problem, in my opinion, if the fantasy stays when the truth is revealed. There it is. I think that I feel like he shot himself in the foot. He's like, of course the humans are going to get together. I feel like there's shame. I don't know if I feel like there's shame there. But yeah, because he was kind of swept up in what he thought was happening, which was not happening at all. Yeah. I feel like we're both right. We're both sides.
I like the commentary on the shame, because it's shame that how could I have not realized that like my actions would lead to this, whether that be like introducing stuff on Bridget, but it's also shame in like I am disembodied. I'm not human. There's a real shame that sometimes people go through when they realize that they are less capable, and that shame may not be correct. They're still people, right? Oftentimes people have to wrestle with that shame.
I think the deciding part of the conversation is like, should he be labeled a creep in this instance, or is it naive behavior that can be interpreted as creepy? I feel like a creep is someone who knows better, and I don't think he knew better.
So the question is his behavior creepy or is he a creep?
Yes.
This is the question?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
I don't know. Someone can display creepy behavior with the intention of not being a creep.
Yeah. It's like we all make mistakes. We all do dumb things. We're not all dumb. It's
a creep is someone who is like, I know creeps. I'm very aware of creeps. Creeps will catcall. Creeps will make suggestive comments. Creeps will try to, overtly sexualize someone. But creepy behavior can just be like not reading a cue that I'm done with the conversation, and them just kind of wanting to stay in that conversation when I've wrapped it up 3 times. I feel like I can draw a line in the sand there. Yes, Tim wants to weigh in on the creep conversation.
I haven't read the book, but I think the line between creepy behavior and being a creep is if you point out the behavior and it doesn't change.
Thank you.
Right? If you're like, you're being a little creepy, or if they get the hint that they're being a little creepy and then they opt to keep doing that behavior, then you can label them a creepy person.
That's with all naivety though. Like if someone makes a remark and you're like, hey, that's not cool. And if they're like, oh, it's not cool, and they keep doing it, you're like, oh, you had the lesson, you're choosing not to.
Yeah.
I kind of have a rule that everyone gets one, whether it's to kind of figure out someone's boundary, whether it's to ask the question. But if someone's like, not cool, and you go, okay, cool, my bad. That was my bad. I didn't know, or I wasn't aware. A creep is someone who knows continues. Harassment
I think
is
you can be creepy
you've told me to
unintentionally.
stop, I'm going to continue doing it. That is the definition of harassment. You've told me no, or you've said not to do it, and I'm going to keep doing it even though you've said not to. That is harassment.
Yeah, it's intention, because I think you can be creepy unintentionally, and then if you realize that that is what's happening,
I
or you're
experience
told
it
that that's what's
all the
happening,
time.
and you change the behavior, or try to change the behavior at least, there's a pattern of growth, then you're not a creep.
But they're saying Jeff's saying how it actually does have a pattern. But is it still intentional? Is he still knowing that behavior is creepy and doing it anyway?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. If I'm doing things, even if they're unintentionally ableist or racist or whatever, and I'm not meaning to, but that's just how I grew up and that's just who I am and what I do and whatever, and I have a pattern of doing that, like, then I am either ableist or racist or whatever. Like, it's not, there isn't this, like, intentions are wonderful, and that's fine. And you can say they didn't mean it, whatever, but they still are that thing. Like, they still are
Jeff,
that thing.
If you do something racist, and I'm like, hey, dude, that's racist, and you don't
But
change
dude, I
the
didn't mean
behavior,
it. I didn't mean it.
Yeah, but when you
it
continue,
was
if you
totally
continue to do
unintentional.
it,
I was naive.
I think
Right,
I've got
but if
a
I
lot
point it out
of.
to you, and you keep doing it, then you're racist.
So I'm gonna.
Otherwise, you're just ignorant.
I'm gonna interject here.
Even though I don't mean it.
So I've been someone from a foreign country coming to a country that has distinctly different racism, and I've had to be like, can you help me here? And if someone said to me, naivety or being naive isn't an excuse, and I was like, it is the only excuse, I think, because it's like, hi, I don't know what it is. Can you tell me? Is it this? And they're like, yes. And you're like, got it. Now I know. But if you're held accountable for a behavior that you're not even aware of, I think that, and I've got grace as well for neurodivergent. Brains work differently. Sometimes you're like, this is how I'm programmed or wired. And it's like, I'll be really blunt, or I'll be really callous, or I'll say something and not understand the context. When someone goes, when you say that, it comes across bad. And you're like, I didn't know.
To bring it back to this exact example, Bridget tells him that you hooked us up. How did you not see this?
And this is a learning moment. This is him having a learning moment.
Right? But then he continues to feel and act, and then he feels like he has to separate himself, and he's still like, I'm still gone. Like, I still can't, whatever.
I feel like it's
like, and so it is.
He's in the learning.
It's not a lesson you learn immediately.
A creep can become not a creep.
And a not creep can become a creep. I think it's easier for an. Wait, what do I think?
Right?
Easier?
Like, they can learn, but they still were a creep.
Creepy. This is the difference between
creepy,
this is the difference between a behavior and an identity. I feel like and this is why people don't like being called like a racist, because it's a whole defining thing where you can't wiggle room, you can't learn, you can't ask questions. You're like, cool, I've been labeled that's who I am, I can't exist, I've been cancelled, whatever. I feel like where it's like, hey, you said a racist thing. It doesn't mean that you intended to, it doesn't mean that you are a racist person, but the thing that you've said is racist. Do you want to talk about it, learn why, and get better? I think that is such a crucial part, because once someone is labeled the thing, a behavior that they've done forever, you cannot learn from that behavior or that moment. We're learning all the time. It means we can't ever fuck up, and we fuck up every day.
And we learn, and we become other things.
But the learning part is crucial.
Yes.
Howard's
agreed.
learning. This is Howard's first rejection.
Is he? Is he?
I think he is.
I've read the rest
because
of the series.
he's not going, Nah, fuck you, dude.
Okay,
That's
well,
my
Jeff, you're
chick.
speaking from a point of
He's not-
privilege then.
He's not
This is
doubling
like-
down. I don't think he's doubling down and being aggressive and antagonistic about it. Oh, look at my freeze frame. I was flailing.
All right, I'll let it go. He was being
It's a
creepy,
really
he wasn't a
interesting
creep.
discussion, though.
Sure.
It is a really interesting discussion. And I feel like Bob has a somewhat neurodivergence about him. And I just feel like he's not completely equipped or confident in this area. And I think, yes, he made an assumption, and that was a big lesson. And I think he's really in like a self-reflection of like, I think that his main self-reflection is I'm not human. I wish there was a part in there where he was like, oh my God, was I being a bit creepy about it? Like, you know, that's a bit heavy-handed, but it's interesting.
I think it's funny that like in the discussion, because Jeff and Academic have read the series and we haven't, it's almost like a Bob versus other people kind of situation where they're omniscient. They know a lot more things we don't know. So it's hard to like, it's just kind of interesting because they have all this extra knowledge that we don't have.
There are a lot of breadcrumbs dropped in this book that come to fruition later.
I've missed them all. Guaranteed.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
And it becomes pretty obvious.
Ali makes a really great point as well. She asked you, Jeff, if you'd read the book or if you listened to it. And the listening to it has a much gentler sort of vibe around it all. And I think there could be a little bit of bias in like just having those words and having more room for interpretation, whether a performance kind of shows you how it goes as well. So there you go. All I'm taking from this is that Jeff is not a creep. And Jeff has incredibly high standards when it comes to respecting women. And that I'm all for. That's essentially what you have confessed to all of us. And everyone should be taking notes. I love that I'm the one being like, nah, everyone gets one. You get a chance to be told to fuck off. Like, but if you keep coming back, there's a problem. That's not okay. There are, like, this is actual conversations I've had with strangers on the internet. Show us your tits. Every now and then, I'll be like, do you think that that's an appropriate thing to say to a stranger online? And 9 times out of 10, they're like, oh, wow, I didn't think you would see it. I'm really sorry. And I'm like, great. Don't do that to other women. And for me, I'm like, I'll take this bullet so that he doesn't do it 100 other times to 100 other women. I'm like, we'll have this lesson, this moment. I have space for it. Cool. Hopefully they move on and learn. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're a creep and they're just like, oh, I got away with it. The 10th person will be like, shut the fuck up and show me your tits, like I said. That is the creep. That is the block. That is the do not associate. That is the there is no lesson. They are not learning. My bad. Like, go. My therapist says, why does it have to be you to teach the lesson? This is exactly what we're going with here. Because that is the information is the cure to naivety. Knowing is the only cure to not knowing. When you don't know, that's where there's critical flaw. That is where errors are. That's where you fuck up. That's where you get it wrong. You are not informed.
Did you tell your therapist
if we all spend
that
a
if you
little bit
don't,
more
nobody
time,
will?
Yeah, right. But it's like if we all just spend a little bit more time instead of being like outraged that they've done the thing because how come you didn't know? That's unacceptable. If we just take a bit and be like, hi, just letting you know that comes across like this with me. Made me feel super uncomfortable. I don't think that that's a great way to tackle that. Like, and just instead of like this inducing shame, because shame does not get results. Shame will never yield the results that you want. To shame someone for a better outcome, it won't happen. So it's like, I know it's like there's so much, you need so much time and compassion for all of these things. If someone shows me a willingness to learn, if someone shows me that it's like they're not a creep, then I'm there. Does your therapist have an opinion on your leg wound? I swear to God. I swear to fucking God. That's a creepy thing to say. No. I haven't. No. I don't want it to scar, but when it does.
It's not going to scar.
When it does. It's still there.
I'm gonna be the first person Maud yells at when it does scar.
No. You'll be the first person I yell at when it's all healed. You are fucking right, Tim. Yeah. Maud is correct. Thank you for arguing my position while I was driving. Aw, There you go. I know it's such a complex, complicated thing. And I'm kind of like, well, how come we all don't just spend a little bit of time? And then my discovery for that is, well, if it's like the thousandth time that it's happened for that person, they have run out of the compassion piece. They've run out of they're just like, fuck you. I'm sick of being a woman that keeps getting creeped on. I don't have time for this. You're a creep, and then I've learned why I am like this, and it's honestly to protect other people from that behavior. If you can stamp it out there, and if that can be the lesson, because if I just push them and they turn around angry, they'll do it 100 more times to 100 more people, and I think it all gets a bit worse. So Howard, not a creep. All right. But it was a really interesting part of the book. I think this was the most fascinating part of the book, an interpersonal relationship. The denial of him not being able to kind of have a relationship, even though he didn't clarify clearly that he wanted a relationship and showed intention of what he wanted. Okay, nice. Next, Homer. God, fuck, we're going to run over. We can't do this in 2 minutes. This was devastating and necessary. There you go. I think it was devastating for Homer. I think that part of the book was a really, really sad part. I think that plot-wise, we needed stakes. When you have too many Bobs, when you can replicate, when you can re-upload, the stakes aren't there. To have him not be able to live through what happened to him, I think it was crucial for the stakes of the story. What is everyone else's take on it? Good riddance, Jeff! Good riddance? He got hacked and was forced to do shit that he didn't want to do. He's a victim.
Okay, let's rewind to the book one when he was trying to do the Homer voice and the whole I don't know how that came across in the audiobook, but the way it was written was very clearly that he was literally just trying to annoy everyone. And yeah, eventually he figured it out and he became a nicer guy, but some things are unforgivable.
Annoying.
Making that voice available.
That means I'm annoying.
That's where Jeff draws the line. I feel like what Homer's role was, especially in books 1 and 2, was showing that Bobs don't want to only be Bob, right? They have their own identity. They are their own person. And especially with the ground rules that Bob set, first Bob in the system tells all the other Bobs what to do, which is probably contributes to why some of the other Bobs fly for the high hills, right? Or leave them. And so I think Homer in the first book, I give him a pass on this personality for that. He's trying to differentiate himself from Riker. And
he was a comedic relief, which some people didn't find funny, but there was an element of a coping mechanism with it all.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he played a very critical role, as well as once he got in system and he serious up or whatever, he was okay, yeah, he's a meaningful member of the team. I don't know about the stakes thing though. This is
there's consequence.
Yeah.
We haven't really seen a consequence like this.
Past? Yeah, we have.
A consequence of having AI PTSD?
No, not that particular consequence. Yeah. Well, it's not AI. It's human PTSD, right?
Human PTSD in a replicant non-human. Yeah. But I thought that was really fascinating because this whole, when you piece it together, when you look at all of this, it is a replicant that is flawed by its human behavior. Howard was flawed by being a human and in his behavior with another woman. Homer is flawed by actually having PTSD, right? That is a part of though? It's a part of the human condition. It hurt him. He wasn't able to cope with it, right?
Mm-hmm. Not a flaw. Not a flaw.
But when you look at sort of code, right? When you are a thing that can be reproduced and replicated and all of these sorts of things, to have it's a human condition. It's not a flaw at all. PTSD, I have PTSD. It's not a flaw. It is something that...
It's your body telling you to be safe. You need to get safe.
It's a consequence of something kind of really full on happening. It's a consequence. So when you look at sort of like being a replicant and not having to sleep and, you know, conditioning a VR system and having all of this programming that can aid you, I just thought it was so raw and a very human thing to experience PTSD. Now, Homer does not have a support network. These replicants don't really talk about their feelings. There was no other way. And I think for Homer to see that as the only out was really powerful when you're looking at a sci-fi themes with a non-human protagonist. I thought it was really interesting. And I thought it was interesting that it happened to the character who initially would use humor as a coping mechanism, right? That's what they say about the people who experience depression the most are the ones who are usually laughing in the groups, you know. I thought it was really interesting. And you're right, flaw was not the appropriate word to use at all. I just think when you're looking at sort of like coding of how to create sort of like a replicant, you kind of forget that if you're not a person that you can't have these sorts of feelings with these types of consequences. I mean, the question that I asked Dennis was like, well, yeah, why don't you just like reprogram? Oh no, why did it have to freeze on that? Oh no, guys, don't look at it. It would be the way to go about that. Wait, now everyone who's just watching me, I have to show you.
I'm posting it now.
Okay, good. Human protagonist in a metal shell. There you go. Being aware while not in control must have been so severely traumatizing. Holy shit, right? But when you kind of see it as, oh, it's just code. Yeah, my question was like, oh, if I was a program, I'd be like, delete trauma, delete that bad experience, delete that bad memory. Oh, I peed my pants in the second grade. No, I didn't. Boom. You know what I mean? Like you could just eradicate all the shit that you didn't want to deal with. But I think that it was important here that it is all encompassing. And the only thing that you can do is just, you know, upload an earlier version before those chain of events. Now, why didn't Homer do that? Did Homer have access to a previous version? Well, yeah, I kind of wish we were processing with Homer because it all happened off page, didn't it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Whereas I think that that's a really interesting... Tim, your hand's up. No, you're just pointing... Oh, it's the shadow. You're holding your hat. It looks like you're... Yeah, excuse me, please. So I guess, where do we all sit with the Homer part? Did you agree Homer declining modulating his endocrine response to help him handle it? It reminded me of a patient refusing anxiolytic meds.
Anxiolytic.
It's the first time I've said that word out loud. You saw me spell it out verbally. What is that? What even is that?
Anti-anxiety meds.
Anxiolytic. Wow. Did you agree with Homer declining, modulating his... Oh, right. Okay, now I see. He didn't want to modulate his endocrine response to help handle it. He wanted to feel it. He probably felt he deserved it. There was probably self-loathing in that. There was probably like, you know, even though I wasn't in control, it was still me. Mm-hmm. I deserve these bad things because I did it. Yeah.
And there's another side of this where, like, if he were to do this, then he would also feel less human, right? That's one of the first things he realized, or if that Bob realized once he got launched out into the world, is like, hey, I need to get rid of this endocrine response control because I feel less connected to me, whoever me is.
Mm. It all comes back with, you know, having a sense of humanity. Anxiolytic. Is that it? That's a great word. Axolotl. Anxiolytic. Cool. I didn't even consider that he thought he was responsible. That makes me so sad. Sorry. Usually when bad things happen to a person, their brain convinces them that they deserve it. It sucks, but they're like just trying to question it. Why did this happen to me? Why me? Why me? Why me? And like, bad luck. terrible circumstances, you know. Sometimes the thing that makes the most sense was, yeah, oh, well, I was supposed to, yeah. That makes sense. Enchilada. Thank you, James. You know how my brain works. That was a good one. All right, cool. Even though I didn't listen to half the book, it was a great conversation about the things that we did know. Sorry, Pavs, you didn't make the cut. Although I did picture a meerkat wearing a metal mask for wielding. So that showed up there. There you go. You spelt it correctly. Disappointing 2 P's. Pavs must die. Axolotl. Love it. I have to... God, it was on my to-do list this week, but I've written 17 to-do lists and didn't consolidate. We got to figure out what December looks like. We're going to be doing definitely Rhythm of War. We've just got to figure out... I'm going to be at Dragonsteel Con, which is happening December 4. So that Thursday is now a no-go. So it looks like we'll just have the 11th and the 18th for... yeah, and you're all reading Brimstone in the interim. Thank me later. The 11th and the 18th, I believe, we're going to be doing Rhythm of War Part 1, Part 2. Now, we've done this before. No, we haven't. Every single other Stormlight Archive book, we've at least broken up into 3 parts. This one being December, we really only have 2 parts. So my suggestion is get started now. Get started now. Try and read as much as possible. Read over and ahead, and we'll just try to keep the conversation to the first half of the book. This is a big one. Actually, considerably shorter than Oathbringer. Like, that's at least a 350-page difference by looking at it. So it is Words of Radiance-esque type size though. So Words of Radiance, I think we did it in 3 parts. We're doing this one in 2. Oathbringer was a chonker for a reason. Yep. Academic, you're going to do Strength of the Few instead of Brimstone. I'm doing both, and I much prefer one over the other. So Dart says, thanks a lot for the book talk. Being a huge Bobaverse fan, I really enjoyed hearing the entire discussion. I owe you an apology. Usually I'm a bit better about retention, and I have a lot more awareness of what's happening in the book. I'm just obsessed with this romantasy novel at the moment. If you get book 3, be sure to catch up and reread this book. I'll hold you to it. Fair enough. Fair enough. And I say that with glee because, I mean, I've bought book 3. I own book 3, but I don't think I'm continuing with it. J Bunt Rock said, did you finish Dawnshard? I haven't started that one yet, so I want to try and read Dawnshard before I start Rhythm of War as well. So December is going to be stacked and packed. I have 3 books that I want to try and finish before November. So for now, part 1, 11th of December, part 2, 18th of December. Dawnshard is a light read. I'm going to try and get through it before to see if we want to reference it. I was going to make it maybe a bonus book for December 4, but now December 4 has just gone to shit, and none of that is happening anymore. We're obviously not doing the 25th. And we need to lock in January, February, and March books for book club. I've got a list for the members at the moment in BookPick, which is a members-only chat. I put a bunch of titles in there. I did ask community, and I asked members to add more to the doc for some suggestions. There have been books that we had penciled in 10 months ago that we haven't done. Ember in the Ashes is a book I really want to do. We were going to do the bonus standalone of the Crown of Nyaxia, which we should have because I'm interviewing the author soon. Cat's Cradle is one we've been mentioning for a very long time. So would love to try and lock in Jan, Feb, March. Keep in mind, February is Black History Month and Valentine's. So we can kind of do something for that. Rage of Dragons is one that I've heard really good things about, maybe for Feb. Anyway, we're offline about all of this. January, we usually start a series that we continue through the year. March, Maud's pick. That's my birthday month. I always pick March. So I will decide March. Oh no. The thing is, did you see the graphic about the percentage of genders that read? There's only like 4 or 5 genres out of about 20 genres that men read more than women. And that's only by a little bit. Women consistently read more than men. Now, even though the majority of men are in this call right now, I'm gonna read books I want to read, and I'm dragging you through with me. If you don't want to read that, that is fine. If you are gonna read it, just don't laugh in my face as we do it. Let's be critical in a kind way about it. Jeff, I know, I might just like boot you for a month. Like, challenge you to write your book. Oh no, Vaden, you screenshot it. And that's how much of a potato I look still?
Yeah.
I don't know what to do about that. I feel like I've tried everything at this stage. Anyway, we're so far over. We need to raid someone. Someone shut her up. She's been talking for 3 hours. My friend Amy Vorpal is streaming and she never streams. She's got 11 people watching her. So let's Vorpal Sword. She's playing The Sims 4.
Yeah, she just did a Kickstarter for her musical. That's why she's.
Something Wicked This Way Comes, says Ali. I have. Don't I have that? I've got Martian Chronicles behind me. I swear we did that for Nerdist Book Club 5 years ago. Didn't we? Something Wicked This Way Comes? I remember it. The carnival.
Yes, we read it.
Yeah.
I think we did it as an October book a couple of years ago.
Because it was a bit scary. I remember it. Anyway, I'm going to chat with Members Plus about some of these books ideas and we'll get something figured out. Say hi to Amy for me. Bye.